Two Geeks, Two Beers. Episode 46, Mission Impossible.
Your mission, Jim, should you decide to accept it, is to make Stefan believe Townsend's information. As always, should you or any of your IM force be caught or killed, the Secretary will disavow any knowledge of your actions. This tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds. Good luck, Jim.
Good evening, Mr. Eames. And good evening, listeners. This is the Two Geeks, Two Beers podcast with me, Morgan, and Tom.
Hello.
Your mission, Tom, should you choose to accept it,
Oh, shit.
is to listen to me whittle on about the Mission Impossible franchise for an hour, 2 hours max, or until we run out of beer.
Yeah. Finger on the pulse again.
Well, again, so the fuse of inspiration, if you like, was lit for this episode by the July release of the latest Mission Impossible movie, Fallout. Mm-hmm. It's now mid-August.
Bit late,
it might even be September by the time you're listening to this. That fuse is well and truly burnt out, and we've both been blown to smithereens. Yeah. Apologies for our tardiness, but spanning more than 50 years and continuing to this day, the MI franchise is timeless, as we shall discover. Now, the beers...
Yeah, you probably was thinking, where's the opening of the beverage?
We're waiting. Yeah. So we thought, it's definitely not that we forgot to buy beers or anything, we thought what we would do is set each other a mission.
Yeah.
We both went to our local supermarket / off license, and Tom had to find the best beer he could.
But it had to be in that place. I couldn't go anywhere else. Once I've gone in there, I had to just find something.
Yeah. You had to go to the local supermarket. I had to go to the local off license. Yeah. And we each had to find the beer that best fit the theme Mission Impossible.
I mean, it wasn't quite an impossible mission. It was pretty bad.
I'll be honest. I've not done great.
No,
I've not done great.
No,
do you want to?
Yeah, right. Okay.
So whichever we deem to be best, we will drink.
Okay. So
first.
mine is
what you got?
Hyde and Wild, because a lot of the time, Ethan Hunt and his crew they have to hide.
They do have to hide,
and when that happens, he is very wild.
He goes wild.
Yeah, and it's a great little beer because it's got a massive lion on the front and he's roaring. And yeah, I mean, it's the best I could possibly do. It was that old ghost shit because he turns into a ghost.
Also, Ghost Protocol.
Fuck's sake.
What were you thinking?
Fuck's sake.
What were you thinking? Right, you would have won.
I would have won.
You would have won, no question.
Well, do you know what?
Now I'm back in the game.
In my defence, I'm pretty sure we've had ghost shit before, and I think in the back of my mind, my brain was going, "Nah, you can't have a beer you've already had."
Sure. All right, maybe I can still come out on top with this one.
All right.
So I've got, it's not strictly a beer, it's a cider.
Oh.
I have Aspel Suffolk Premier Cru because
it's almost
because of the IMF. They're a Premier Cru,
and he's Tom Cruise.
Yeah, that's
almost Cruise,
and it's literally spelled CRU. That's obviously what I was thinking. Premier Cruise. I obviously thought of that as well. Yeah.
I mean, that's why my brain instantly went.
We're on a wavelength, of course. I obviously thought that. So, what do you reckon?
I think you've won by accident.
Also, I think you want to drink the cider, not the stouty beer.
Yeah. Well, this is a pale ale.
Oh, that's not bad.
So
let's go for the cider and then drink the pale ale.
Okay.
It's gonna be. Let's be honest. We've got to make our way through 2 TV shows and 6 movies. This is gonna be a long one.
All right. We'll
bust open the ciders.
We need the noise of the opening anyway.
Oh, satisfying.
Thanks very much. I like the bottle. Can't see it obviously, but it's a very long, very long neck. Don't really get that anymore.
You know. Cheers.
Cheers.
Ooh. Oh. So let's get underway. We start with, of course, the original Mission Impossible TV series,
which is easy to forget it existed because the movie franchise is so big. Like if you were a noob, you might not have known.
Such as yourself.
Yeah.
The series was created by Bruce Geller. It was while working as co-executive producer on the cowboy series Rawhide.
Yeah.
Rawhide. That Geller developed the idea for a new Cloak and Dagger series, which became a Mission Impossible. He was inspired by the stylish 1964 heist movie Top Copy, which I've never seen and maybe mispronouncing, and its minimal dialogue and clockwork precision plots executed by a team of diverse specialists.
Melina!
Hello.
Melina McCurry! What are you doing here?
I have an appointment.
Here on these rooftops?
Yes.
With whom, may I ask?
With Peter Ustinov, Maximilian Schell, and Robert Morley.
To do what? There's a world of meaning in that, ha-ha. At least tell me why Istanbul.
Because in Istanbul there is a Topkapi.
Topkapi? Topkapi? Where the Sultan's harems were?
Better. Topkapi where the treasure room is. And in the treasure room there is a glass case. And in the glass case there is a sultan. And on the sultan there is a dagger. And on the dagger there are the four most beautiful emeralds on earth. The Topkapi emerald.
So the original series chronicled the exploits of a team of secret government agents known as the Impossible Mission Force, or IMF. It ran for 171 episodes on CBS across 7 seasons from 1966 to 1973. At 171 episodes, Mission Impossible held the record for having the most episodes of any English language espionage television series for over 35 years.
Wow.
With about 10 more episodes. It's got to be one way or another.
Is 24 the next one?
Well,
I'm trying to think of one.
Mission Impossible had about 10 more episodes than its nearest contemporary rival, which was The Avengers, as in Stephen Peele. Its record was broken during the 8th season of 24 in 2010. Go listen to our 24 episode, which it's easy to find. It's episode 24. 2geekstudios.com. So each episode of Mission Impossible opens with a fuse being lit. The hands striking the match were apparently the creator Bruce Gowers, followed by a fast-paced montage featuring clips from the episode that unfolds as the series' classic theme music composed by Lalo Schifrin plays.
As theme tunes go, that is up there, isn't it?
Schifrin's a bit of a genius. So Schifrin was a 5-time Grammy winner and 6-time Oscar nominee. People always complain about Ridley Scott. Why didn't Schifrin get an Oscar?
Yeah. What else was he nominated for?
I don't know. Hashtag justice
Doesn't matter,
for
he
Schifrin.
didn't win.
Doesn't matter, he didn't win. It's forgotten now. It's in the
He's
annals
the Jimmy
of
White of movie scores.
Well, he also wrote the music for Bullet with Steve McQueen.
Yeah, that's good.
The Dirty Harry movies.
Nice.
And Enter the Dragon. So we've actually played his music before on the show. Wow. Go listen to our Enter the Dragon. No, Bruce Lee episode. It's a Bruce Lee episode.
Still didn't win an Oscar for it.
No.
Rubbish.
His other best-known piece of music, composed for Mission Impossible, aside from the theme, which continues to be featured in the latest movies. So when you hear it, you might go, oh yeah. It's called The Plot.
I do like that. It's like in the was it Hulk in the movie, where it sort of still had the movie, the TV series.
Still played the Lonely
Didn't
Man
have
theme.
to, but
No,
it did.
nice little touch. So after the opening titles of each episode would see the IMF's leader, there were 2, we'll get onto that, receive his instructions from a voice delivered on a recording, which then, of course, self-destructs. Now, already a couple of questions. First of all, how did the voice on the recording always know what time of day it was?
Yeah.
Because it would always say, "Good morning, Mr. Briggs," or "Good evening, Mr. Phelps."
Just a guess.
That is
a wild guess.
Or that is some express delivery from recording to delivery. Like that shit's on Amazon Prime. It's like straight. He gets that within like a matter of minutes. Second, I understand that the tape self-destructs for the purposes of secrecy and security. What if you missed a bit? He's like,
I didn't get it. Shit, I can't go then. I can't go because I didn't hear what it was.
I can't go. That's not my fault.
You mumbled.
That's destroyed now. It's destroyed. The nation. The nation is just going to crumble now. I'm not taking any responsibility for that. I'm backing away.
Do a Teletubbies and just do it twice, and then I'm fine.
Again. Yeah. So the IMF is employed by forces unknown to thwart criminal activity of all kinds. In the third season, it's stated that their instructions come from Division 7, while the 1980s Mission Impossible revival, which we'll get onto, introduces the phrase, which is still used in the new movies, "As always, should you or any of your IM force be caught or killed, the Secretary will disavow any knowledge of your actions." That suggests that the IMF operates independently of the US government as a kind of black ops team.
Like the Men in Black.
much like the Men in Black. What you thought you saw, you did not see. Starting out as a small, clandestine operation, by the 80s revival, the IMF was made larger in scale, with references made to IMF divisions and additional teams operating off-screen. Now, in the first season, the IMF team is led by Dan Briggs, played by Stephen Hill.
Now we'll exchange Gorman for the girl my way. You'll wait to hear from me. And one more little thing, Egan. If anything happens to that girl, anything, I'll finish you. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I'll find you and I'll kill you. And you know I can do it.
He's better known for playing ADA Adam Schiff for 10 seasons on the original Law and Order.
Any relation to Richard?
Richard Hill?
Schiff.
The character is Adam Schiff. This is Jurassic Park all over again. So there are several reasons that have been given for Stephen Hill's departure from Mission Impossible after the first season. As an Orthodox Jew, he had to leave the set on Fridays at 4 p.m. to be home before sundown, and then was not available until after dark the next day, which caused production issues. Also, apparently, there was some sort of unrest on set after cooperatively crawling through dirt tunnels and repeatedly climbing a rope ladder in the episode Snowball in Hell. In the following episode, Action, he balked at climbing a stairway with railings and locked himself in his dressing room. He's like, dirt tunnels, fine. Rope ladder, no sweat. Some stairs, having a laugh. Get out. I'm not climbing up those stairs. The stairs were the final straw. The episode was reshot without him, and future episodes featured less and less of the Briggs character until he vanished from the show entirely without explanation after the first season.
It's like Lethal Weapon in the TV series.
They're gonna have to deal with that because Clayne Crawford is a massive bellend. It turns out. I like that show as well. Little segue. Have you seen it?
No.
It's not.
I like the idea of it.
It's not Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
But it's really good fun. It's a classic post pub sit down with a McDonald's and watch Lethal Weapon. It's
I love
good fun.
Sean William Scott, so I'm happy.
Stifler.
Yeah,
Stifler.
great.
I don't want Stifler. Nah, I'm not down. Jim Phelps, played by Peter Graves, he takes charge of the IMF from season 2 onwards.
Good, very good, Ralph.
Just a small sample, Jim.
Well, I think that'll appeal greatly to Mr. Gordon's nature. How about the effects at the house, Barney?
They're in the works. I also have the men.
Jim, how does Gordon handle these so-called contracts for murder?
Picks up the phone and the job gets done. But he never does it himself.
Even if the job's here in town?
No, he has an assistant. A man named Connie. Always uses one of these delightful things. The bodies are disposed of in the incinerator at Gordon's lumberyard.
Why don't we just keep an eye on Connie until he tries it again?
All we get is Connie. We want Gordon.
Now, in theory, Briggs and then Phelps were the only full-time members of the IMF. As the series was originally conceived, they would form teams made up of part-time agents, choosing their operatives based on their particular set of skills required for the mission. Many episodes do feature guest stars who play one-off agents, but there was also a regular cast of characters. So originally this was the top fashion model and actress Cinnamon Carter, played by Barbara Bain.
Nice.
Mechanical and electronics genius Barney Collier, played by Greg Morris. The weightlifter Willie Armitage, played by Peter Lupus. And the actor, escape artist and magician Roland Hand, played by Martin Landau.
That explains the jobs we're being trained for. See, each one of these jobs has one thing in common. Wide human contact. dancer in a discotheque, fry cook handling food all day, librarian, vendor in a ballpark. Each of these jobs involves hundreds, if not thousands of contacts a day. I think that each of these trainees is going to be infected with a plague without knowing it. He'll be sent to the United States thinking he's on some kind of espionage mission or something, but before he dies, he'll infect thousands.
Hand was also a master of disguise. Known as the man of a million faces, he used realistic latex face masks and makeup.
Oh, do you know what? I didn't know.
That's where the whole mask thing comes from, which is obviously a big part of the...
banging on about it in the new films.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And in season 2, Hand would successfully impersonate Adolf Hitler in a mission to stop the revival of the Nazi Party in Germany.
Oh.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
That was a risk.
Interestingly, Landau and Barbara Bain, who played Cinnamon Carter, were actually married in real life at the time.
Oh.
And they went on to appear together in, do you know?
No.
Space 1999.
Oh, of course.
The Jerry Anderson series. Go listen to our Jerry Anderson special, previous episode 44. 2geeks2beers.com. Also, I don't know if this will mean anything to you.
Probably not.
Probably not, let's face it. Let's be honest. Bain and Landau had 2 daughters. Their youngest, Juliette Landau, went on to play the vampire Drusilla in Buffy the Vampire Slayer and its spin-off Angel.
Nice.
Didn't know that for years. I was like, Juliette Landau, sure, Martin Landau. Oh my god, couldn't believe it.
Always had a crush on her.
Drusilla.
Yeah.
Weird. It's a weird one.
Says something about me, doesn't it?
I think it says a lot about you, mate.
I think I just wanted to be Spike.
Oh, we all want to be Spike. He's so cool and British. And even though we were British, we weren't quite as British as him. Even though he wasn't British.
Yeah.
Kill of a princess.
I'll chop her into messes.
Future episode, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, it is coming. It's been promised. It is coming. Anyway, back to Mission Impossible.
Previously on Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Previously on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So the team lineup on Mission Impossible continued to shift in later seasons. Later notable characters included the Great Paris, Roland Hand's replacement in the 4th and 5th seasons. Conveniently, he was also an actor, makeup artist, magician, and master of disguise. But then I guess you are recruiting someone with the same skills, so it makes sense. He was played by Leonard Nimoy, who had literally just come off a 3-season run playing Mr. Spock on Star Trek. It was literally the next thing he did.
The priest here is a young man named Sebastian. I know. I saw a dossier on him before I left the capital.
He has the people of Cafero in the palm of his hands. Now, Mr. Yorenji, if the government wants the support of the people of Cafero, I would suggest to eliminate Father Sebastian.
No, Colonel. No. The answer is not to get rid of him, but to get around him.
The series creator, Geller, insisted that the caper of the week should be the focus on Mission Impossible, with minimal character development. The IMF team's life outside of their missions was rarely explored, and cast changes, and this will probably annoy you, were never addressed on screen. With any character who left the series just disappearing between episodes without mention or acknowledgement.
No. Why?
Well, it's that thing of...
It's got no passion.
But it's plot driven, not character driven. It's the idea you can just sort of swap out characters and it's always basically the same show.
Like Lethal Weapon.
No, not like Lethal Weapon. I was going to say Justice for Crawford. I was like, no, not that. No. A massive tool. I just don't want Stifler. I'm not defending what Clayton Crawford did. He's obviously a bad man. I just don't want Stifler.
I think it'd be good.
Stifler? Yeah. Ugh. That's like the nightmare scenario for a Lethal Weapon TV series. They got the casting really good. They didn't go for like an obvious, he's crazy. They went for a really good actor in Clayton Crawford. Quite a bad man, but a great actor. And then they go, who should we get to replace him? Stifler. Yeah. Really? Stifler?
Yeah, this could be the Sean William Scott naissance. What we call it.
The Stifler's naissance.
Yeah, it could be it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Anyway.
Hey, back to this. We're going to Lethal Weapon episode, future episode. We'll actually hash this out properly. So originally a globe-trotting affair. Mm-hmm. By the 5th season, new producer Bruce Lansbury, no relation to Angela, well maybe, as far as I'm aware, didn't check.
That many Lansburys.
He began to phase out the international missions as they were more expensive to film. So later episodes saw the IMF instead mostly battling organised crime, gangland bosses, usually associated with a criminal organisation called the Syndicate. There we go. Why is that important, Tom?
Well, it comes up, doesn't it? in the films.
It does come up in the films. Yeah, well done. Mission Impossible was a huge hit in its day, but or a ratings hit, but also it won Emmys and Golden Globes. It was like properly acclaimed. So of course, it wasn't long before a revival was being considered, which in those days not so commonplace.
No.
Which takes us on to part 2, the TV revival. So 80s, so 80s. And there's something about TV shows from the 60s that even though they obviously look vintage, they look like old shows, there's something like kind of timeless about them. They look cool.
Yeah.
That just looks very 80s. That doesn't hold up as well, but weirdly, as something 20 years older.
I do like though, if you close your eyes or listen to it on a podcast, it sounds exactly the same.
It's a little more 80s. It's a little bit more synthy.
But generally speaking, they didn't change it too much.
It's a little bit more sort of Casio
Doctor
keyboard.
Who, they keep mucking about with it sometimes. Whereas it's pretty.
Doctor Who, the theme tune, it went like proper 80s. It went from like the classic to suddenly being like it went proper Casio keyboards. So from 1980 onwards, just 7 years after the original concluded, plans were afoot for a possible TV or film revival of Mission Impossible. While previous attempts were sunk by script or budgetary issues, in 1988, a writer's strike saw Hollywood producers desperately raid the archives for new/old ideas, with CBS's rival network ABC deciding to launch a new Mission Impossible. But oddly, they decided, because obviously they couldn't pay writers or hire writers to write anything new, so they're like, right, we'll just get the original scripts, but update them for 1988. So the original plan...
We should require some writing, sure.
Well, minimal.
Did they just get Jimmy the bin man to do it?
Just Jimmy, just change the odd word
You're
here
not
and
in the
there.
writers' union, so you can do it.
Yeah. So the original plan was to do a straight remake using the original scripts, but updated. But this was changed apparently just before filming began. So instead, Peter Graves, he reprised his role of Jim Phelps from the 60s series. Phelps was joined by an all-new team, but the new characters were all basically thinly veiled recreations of the old.
And he looks like peak Leslie Nielsen at this point.
He does. It's almost think like Leslie Nielsen maybe modelled himself on Jim Phelps, on Peter Graves.
Yeah.
The same sort of helmet of silver hair.
Yeah, just perfectly coiffed.
Yeah. Almost needs a chin strap. Yeah. So this meant that the new Mission Impossible, this 80s series, was sort of part continuation because it picked up with the older Jim Phelps.
But it was a remake as well.
Also kind of a remake.
So weird.
However, the writer's strike was resolved quickly enough that only 4 episodes were actual remakes from the 60s series, which, along with the decision to change the character names and their backgrounds, means that most fans do consider this a continuation rather than a remake. They consider it canon.
So were they just sort of hoping that no one would notice? That, hang on, this episode's exactly the same, almost word for word.
We talked about this before, but it is that thing. I've talked about it when we say, why do they junk old episodes of classic TV shows? I probably just assumed that it's 20 years later. No one remembers that, and no one.
They didn't know what the internet.
I know the internet didn't exist.
Yeah.
I know it was the 80s, and I think VHS was starting to come in, but people probably didn't have Mission Impossible box sets and then go, wait, this is the same.
Yeah.
You probably could recycle stuff, and it wouldn't make much of a difference.
No.
Having said that, the series was not a hit.
1 season wonder?
2.
Wow.
Because it was produced cheaply enough, because they recycled scripts and such, to keep it on ABC's schedule. So it did run for 2 years.
That's why I never heard of it then.
It's pretty, it was a bit of a blip.
Okay.
An interesting footnote in Mission Impossible history.
What was it actually called?
Mission Impossible.
Just called Mission Impossible?
Mission Impossible.
Do you know what I've always... Because we're sort of journalists, if you want to call us that.
In the loosest sense of the word.
We write a lot of articles and features about things over the years.
We do.
And we've had to probably write about Mission Impossible every now and then. The thing I hate about the franchise is having to do the colon.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
But it's Mission Impossible.
No, but so it's Mission colon.
Mission colon Impossible. Here's a colon. It's a check. Here's a colon.
Hyphen Ghost Protocol.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
There's a lot of punctuation that goes into it.
Come on. Can we just get rid of all that? Anyway.
I'm glad you got
little gripe. Got it out.
Glad
got
you
it
got
out of the
that
system.
You got that colon out of your system. So that's Telly Mission Impossible. Put that to bed.
Right.
We have put that to bed.
Cool.
So now on to the movies.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise hanging off of stuff.
So I bet when they came up with this as an idea, they must have thought on paper, what are we doing?
Well, apparently, so the first movie, Mission Impossible in 1996, it was produced by and starring Tom Cruise, who was a fan of the original show as a child. You're aware of the Cruiser. Yeah. So I guess it was a bit of a 1996. Cruise is pretty much at his peak, isn't he? Not that he's not at his peak.
He sort of keeps peaking.
He does keep peaking. Cruise, he's always peaking. Yeah, he's on like sort of flatlining, but at a peak, he's flatlining at the top.
Mount Everest, and he's sort of there forever. I won't have a bad word said against Tom Cruise.
You love Cruise.
Do you know what I mean? Like I did a whole feature search for it in defence of Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
And I know there's elements of his personal life that might be a bit whatever, Scientology and all that, but just gloss all over that.
Yeah.
He's not a bad man,
as
far as we're aware.
As far as we're aware.
And he's just great. Put so much effort into it, which we'll get into later.
He does.
And he just seems like a great guy, and he's always great with his fans, and just... What more do you want? Just the ultimate movie star.
He is the ultimate movie star. I also think he is a great movie star, but I also think
he's a good actor.
He's not a terrible actor.
No, he's good.
A lot of people have
certain roles. He's fantastic.
Magnolia, mate.
Yeah.
Not a movie I particularly love, but Cruise is great in it. Cruise is great in Collateral. I think in the right roles, he is.
But even in the fluff, he's great. Like whether you consider this fluff or even Night and Day, shit like that. One of his worst, he still puts in a good performance. He's a good actor.
It's never when a Cruise film is bad.
Yeah.
It's never Cruise's fault. Yeah. Except for Far and Away with his Irish accent.
But he still brings in the punters, so he obviously has fans out there.
He does.
People might mock him. He's like the Nickelback of Hollywood actors. Like people
just say like you love Nickelback.
I do love Nickelback, but it's that thing of everyone seems to hate them, but they still sell out arenas all over the place all of the time. So someone's lying. That's all I'm saying.
Anyway, look at this trailer!
Good morning, Mr. Phelps. This is your mission should you choose to accept it. Should you or any member of your IM force be caught or killed, the Secretary will disavow all knowledge of your actions. Ethan Hunt will be your point man as usual. Good luck, Jim.
Simple game. Is he serious?
Always.
It's much worse than you think.
We're being ambushed. Abort, that's an order. They knew we were coming. Do you read me?
I don't care how he did it. I want to know why he did it. You're worried about me. Why you survived.
I'm sure we can find something I have that you need.
No one sent me.
These guys are trained to be ghosts. Let's not waste time chasing after him. Just make him come to us. Find something that's personally important to him and you squeeze. I can understand you're very upset. You've never seen me very upset.
This tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Back when John Voight could still run.
So, this is from the realms of the internet, but I think this might be spurious because if Cruise produced the movie, surely he would always have been the star.
Yeah.
But apparently, George Clooney was offered the part of Ethan Hunt, but turned it down to work on One Fine Day. Underrated, great movie.
Do you like that film?
I love.
Yeah.
So if that is true, everything worked out for the best. I think people just make this shit up because it's always the same sort of names. Right, say the names you think, according to IMDb trivia, will have been considered.
It's always Arnie and Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis is the first one.
Or Stallone, or who's around?
Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson. Yeah.
John Travolta, Nicolas Cage, and Ralph Fiennes. Nah. Anyway, apparently those people were considered for the role, but as I say, I think Cruise was attached from the start. I'm not buying it.
Maybe he made an audition.
And he's like, do you know what? I'm gonna go for me.
Better than all of you.
Oh yeah. Actually, I'm gonna stick with me. I bet. Yeah. Cheers. So the film was directed by Brian De Palma, and the plot follows Ethan Hunt, Cruise, and his mission to uncover the mole who has framed him for the murders of his entire IMF team, including Emilio Estevez in an uncredited cameo.
Oh no, I was going to say, this is half brother. No, that's Charlie Sheen.
That's Charlie Sheen. Although
they're very similar.
Are you thinking maybe thinking of Tom Cruise's cousin?
Yes, William Mapother.
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 It could be Mapother.
Mapother sounds.
I've never thought of it.
Yeah.
Who plays another Ethan?
Ethan
in Lost.
Yeah. This film, because it's sort of. I feel like it's quite po-faced.
It is very po-faced.
And he's very serious. And I suppose you could argue this is where Ethan Hunt was made, and he became...
Well, I would argue that, given it's the first movie.
No, but like he became who we know and love now.
Right. Because in terms of the story,
Ethan Hunt now is nothing like this guy. This guy's a bit of a boring douche, whereas he gets more interesting and funny in the later two.
Yeah. The film also introduces Ethan's long-standing ally, the computer expert, Luther Stickle.
Yes.
The producers apparently cast Ving Rhames as Luther because they felt he was the opposite of what a hacker would normally look like in movies.
Cheers. To you, Luther. Being off the disavowed list.
Hey, I'm the flavor of the month.
So there were rumours that Cruise and De Palma did not get along, and they were fueled by the director excusing himself at the last moment from scheduled media interviews before the film's release, and it really helped promote it. There's a story, well, maybe apocryphal, that Reza Badiyi, apologies.
That's guaranteed to be wrong.
It's definitely wrong. This guy, anyway, he was the person responsible for directing more episodes of the original Mission Impossible television series than anyone else. He was asked by the head of Paramount, who was making the movie, to be present on the set of the film for consultation and advice. Brian De Palma approached him and told him how much he had enjoyed the original series. He also added that the movie would be nothing like the television show, and that his presence on the set would only result in making both of them uncomfortable. But he thanked him for his honesty and left the set, never to return. He's like, thanks, but I think it'd be better for both of us if you leave right now. So work on the script for the first Mission Impossible movie had begun early, with filmmaker Sidney Pollack, who worked with Cruise on 93's The Firm, on board, before De Palma and a series of writers were brought in. So Steven Zalian, who wrote Schindler's List.
Oh wow.
David Cope. You know who that guy is?
Cope.
David Cope. We talked about him last time.
Oh, we did. Jurassic Park man.
Yeah, he wrote Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
This guy, he's all over the place. He wrote Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Way. He wrote The Lost World. He wrote Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire one. Way. He wrote Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. It's very hit and miss. And Robert Towne also was brought in. He's best known for his Oscar-winning screenplay for Chinatown.
Nice. Didn't like that film though.
Forget it. It's Chinatown. Mission Impossible went into pre-production without a shooting script. Scenes were literally being rewritten between takes. Apparently, again, this is a recurring theme. Apparently, De Palma devised several action sequences, but Cope and Towne were dissatisfied with the story that led up to those events. So Towne ended up helping organise a beginning, a middle, and an end to hang story details on, while De Palma and Cope worked on the plot.
Is it Co-op?
I don't know, Cope, I don't know.
Is it spelled EP?
It's Koepp. How would you say that?
I think I just read it as Cope last time, like an idiot.
It might be Cope though.
I think I'm wrong.
Oh, I can't cope.
Oh no. Like a right fool. If David was listening to last week's episode, which he guaranteed wasn't. Oh no. Sorry,
or just anyone who actually did their research and found out how to pronounce his name.
I think I just sort of, it looks like the word cope, fuck it. Anyway, carry on.
So David Coepp.
Yeah.
So while filming the famous scene where Ethan infiltrates CIA headquarters, Tom Cruise dangling from the ceiling, hovering inches
so
above
many
the ground.
parodies over the years.
But the dangling wire scene was borrowed from Top Cappy, 1964, which had also, of course, inspired the original TV series. Apparently, Cruise's head kept hitting the floor until he got the idea to put coins in his shoes for balance.
Ah.
Yeah. Also, there's a scene that takes place in a glass-walled restaurant where Ethan Hunt meets up with Kittredge. And there's a big lobster tank in the middle and 3 huge fish tanks overhead. That was all Cruise's idea. Apparently, there were 16 tons in all of the tanks, and there was a concern that when they detonated, a lot of glass would fly around. De Palma tried the sequence with a stuntman, but it did not look convincing, and he asked Cruise to do it, despite the possibility that the actor could have drowned. But that might have led to this stunt addiction that has now developed within Cruise. Music. Let's talk the music. U2 band members Larry Mullen Jr. and Adam Clayton, basically the shit half of U2. I mean, all of U2's pretty shit, but the less famous side of U2.
I wonder what The Edge was doing.
He was busy. He was busy writing. Bono and The Edge were probably busy at the time writing the music for the theme tune for Goldeneye.
Yeah. Say my full name. The Edge. Yeah. Do you want to do Mission Impossible? Nah. All right.
Doing Goldeneye. Can we sing it? No. Get Tina Turner. Imagine how bad it would have been if Bono sang Goldeneye. Anyway, Larry and Adam. Bono, The Edge, Larry. Anyway, they produced an electronic dance version of the original.
I remember this. Yeah.
Of the original theme music. The tune went into the top 10 lists of music charts around the world and was nominated for a Grammy.
Wow.
Did really well. Well done, Larry. And Adam. You were robbed then of my dance moves, given that this is only audio.
That's like two of the blokes from Coldplay that no one could ever name, just sort of teamed up and did a remix of I don't know.
The Prisoner.
Yeah.
The Prisoner theme.
Yeah, I like that. That was good.
Yeah, enjoyed that. Yeah. The film was a commercial success. It had a worldwide. I know you love your box office.
Yeah.
It had a worldwide total of $457.6 million.
Back in the 90s, that's a lot.
A lot of money. It became the third highest grossing film, in fact, of 1996, and received a mixed to favourable response from critics. However, several cast members of the original 60 series, they reacted negatively to the film. No. But there's a good reason why, I think. Like, I like the films, but actually I kind of agree with them.
It's quite up its own arse in comparison to the TV series.
It's not only that. So, did you know the movies, well, this is up for debate, but the movies are meant to be a continuation, not a remake of the TV series. So, IMF leader Jim Phelps, who we talked about earlier, played by Peter Graves in the original series, he has a supporting role in the film. He's played by John Voight. It's the same character.
What?
John Voight is playing the guy from the original Mission Impossible.
When did you get him back?
Apparently, again, this is on the internet, may or may not be true. Apparently they asked him to reprise it, and he turned it down. Because in the film, if you remember, a disillusioned Phelps decides to sell a classified list of undercover IMF agents to an arms dealer for cash, and frame his protege Ethan Hunt.
So the main character from the original series is a baddie?
I knew this was an early.
Oh my god! I didn't know that.
It's like I like the films, but you can understand why fans were pissed off.
Absolutely. So imagine if, like, in 20 years' time, they did a new 24 film, and Kiefer comes back, or someone else.
It's not even Kiefer.
Someone else plays Jack Bauer, and he just, after all that, like, is a dick and just sort of caves in and is
exactly.
That's awful. Why did they do that?
Dick move.
Couldn't they have made it his brother or something at least?
Make it his brother at least.
Not my Jim Phelps.
Well, exactly. So hashtag not my Jim Phelps. So Peter Graves, who played Jim Phelps in the original series,
furious,
as well as in the late 80s revival, he disliked how Phelps turned out in the film.
Oh yeah. Meanwhile,
actor Greg Morris, who played Barney in the original series, he was reportedly disgusted with the film's treatment of the Phelps character and walked out of the theatre before the film even ended.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
I'm out of here. I'm out of here. So, though the presence of Phelps would appear to suggest that the films follow on from the TV original, many fans do not consider them canon because of the shoddy treatment of the Phelps character.
Yeah.
None of the other Mission Impossible films feature any characters from the television series, although, as we discussed, Rogue Nation and Fallout do involve the Syndicate, which was a recurring element of the TV show. A little bit of interesting trivia.
Yeah.
Well, you be the judge. The first Mission Impossible movie, sort of going back to what you were saying about it being slightly po-faced because a little too seriously.
Yeah.
It was the only film in the franchise where Ethan Hunt doesn't fire a gun, and it is the only one not to have, in fact, any shootouts or gunfights. Quite a contrast to what followed. 2000's Mission Impossible 2.
Yes.
Good morning, Mr. Hunt.
Sorry I barged in on your vacation.
Well, Mr. Hunt, I don't quite know where to begin.
You know me?
No. Should I?
She's got no training for this kind of thing.
But to go to bed with a man like him, she's a woman. She's got all the training she needs.
Welcome to Australia, mate.
This ain't funny.
The mother of all nightmares is on the loose.
I don't think I can do it.
I mean, it'll be difficult.
Very.
Well, this is not mission difficult, Mr. Hunt. It's mission impossible. Difficult should be a walk in the park for you.
You gotta be kidding.
This message will destruct in 5 seconds.
Sorry. I might be a little bit drunk, but I'm so pumped after watching that. I know it's like technically
it's definitely
shit film.
It's definitely the worst
but
one.
I love
It's
it so much. It's so early noughties, fun, Limp Bizkit, and just Dougray Scott of all people's the baddie, Anthony Hopkins on fine form, and it's just great. There's a bit where they're fighting at the end, and I did years and years ago I did a podcast with Sam, you know, and it's one of his favourite films of all time. And,
of course it is.
And there's a bit where, you know, he's fighting Dougray Scott for what feels like hours on motorbikes and whatever. And
well, the film, we should mention the film Mission Impossible 2 is a film so ridiculous it culminates in a ludicrous final sequence in which Ethan Hunt and the villain Sean Ambrose, played by Dougray Scott, they duel like knights on opposing motorbikes. There's even there's a moment where I think Tom Cruise's gun is like on the sand, or like on the floor, and he can't get it. He can't reach down and pick it up. So he kicks the floor, and the gun like flies up in the air, and he just grabs it.
And Dougray Scott's like, "Yeah, should have killed me. Yeah,
You should have killed me."
Wasn't there a line in the new film where someone actually says, "You should have killed me"? And we were like, that must be a callback to Mission Impossible 2. It wasn't. It was just us.
It definitely wasn't. On going back to that trailer, to go to bed with a man and lie to him, she's a woman, she's got all the training she needs. Wouldn't get away with that in 2018. And nor should you. That's a shocking line. But it does have a great line, another great Hopkins line, which is, you think it would be difficult? Very. It's not a mission difficult, Mr. Hunt, it's a mission impossible. Difficult to be a walk in the park for you.
Apparently says the line Mission Impossible.
Well, apparently that's the first and I'm not sure, but I think only time that the words Mission Impossible are actually used in the franchise.
But I like that they wanted to do something totally different.
Yeah, well, so this film came out 4 years after the first one. Apparently production was delayed because Tom Cruise was shooting Eyes Wide Shut with Stanley Kubrick for over a year. And it's directed by John Woo, we can talk about, So you got guns in both hands, slow-mo, doves, the whole shebang. The mission comes to Ethan Hunt, not on a tape recorder, comes on his exploding Oakleys. So cool. Yeah. But I quite like it. Yeah. It's dumb as a bag of hammers, but it is fun. And it's perfect that Limp Bizkit do the theme on this one, because Mission Impossible 2 is the Limp Bizkit of movies. It's objectively terrible and cheesy and awful.
You can't help but like it.
But you know what?
Fuck it. Fuck you. I like Limp Bizkit.
I quite like it. I quite enjoy it. Let's have a blast. This is Limp Bizkit's rendition of Lalo Schifrin's Mission Impossible theme.
Yes.
Take a look around.
It's Limp Bizkit fucking up your town.
Fucking up your town?
Yeah.
That's definitely not the lyrics.
What does he say? It's Limp Bizkit fucking up your...
Rocking your set? No, wait, that's rolling.
I know why you wanna hate me. I know why you wanna hate me. I know why you wanna hate me. Cause hate is all the world has even seen lately. I know why you wanna hate me. I know why you wanna hate me. Now I know why you wanna hate me. Cause hate is all the world has even seen lately. And now you wanna hate me. Cause hate is all the world has even seen lately. And now you wanna hate me. Cause hate is all the world has even seen lately.
Come on. We were again, you're robbed of this. Me and Tom were both just sat here fist pumping.
Sorry.
And so was Fred Durst in the video.
You can take your Drake and your Ed Sheerans. We had it fucking good in the early noughties. We had that, we had Linkin Park, and we were fucking sorted.
But it is so odd to leap from the kind of psychological thriller of the first film to this
absolute farce,
absolute dumbass action movie. But there is, of course, it's great now, and I do genuinely like it.
It's the Too Fast, Too Furious of the franchise. Because Mission Impossible very much is I mean,
I'll be honest. We relate a lot of things on this show to the Fast and Furious
if you
franchise.
think about it, if they're quite similar.
Of course they are.
Mission Impossible and the Fast and Furious franchises, because they've morphed over the years. They've got better with age, and they've got a group of supporting cast and all this kind of stuff.
And they started out quite disparate and very different, and then they became more uniform as they went along.
Both franchises, the second film was like, what is going on? No one likes it. It's shit. But then in retrospectively,
yes,
you sort of like the second film because it's all connected.
It's part of it.
See,
and also I like it now. I do genuinely like it that they've got a formula. And it's a great formula.
Yeah.
But there was something quite exciting at the time about a film franchise where you had a new director who does his own thing, completely different every time. So you had always had the same basic characters and the same basic setup, but a totally different style. So it was like, what's the new Mission Impossible film going to be like? I do feel like they've lost that a little bit, even though the newer films are great.
Yeah.
So in this film, Ethan Hunt is recruited by the Impossible Mission Force, the IMF, to find and destroy a dangerous biological weapon called Chimera from a rogue IMF agent named Sean Ambrose, Scott, with the help of his new girlfriend, Nia Nordoff Hall, played by the brilliant, the incredibly talented...
Your cousin.
Tandy Newton. I was just going to say, talent runs in the family.
Yeah.
Talent obviously runs in the family. Yeah. Tandy Newton is in fact my second cousin. That's actually true.
Yeah.
I rarely bring it up though, which is so I'm glad you did.
Oh.
Yeah. As of 2018, this is the only Mission Impossible film where Ethan Hunt is actually working for the IMF and is not on the run, working outside the IMF and or disavowed. It's also the only appearance so far, although bringing back, of the IMF member, the Aussie pilot, Billy Baird, played by John Paulson.
Great.
Lothar, Ethan! He was great. It's also the only appearance of, as we said, Anthony Hopkins as the IMF mission commander, Swanbeck. It grossed more than 546.4... No, more than. It grossed exactly that. $546.4 million worldwide. It became the highest grossing film of 2000, which...
Power of Limp Bizkit.
But Limp Bizkit rocking the set.
Yeah.
But
It's like Russian roulette. A bit.
Yeah, exactly. But that's like, X-Men came out that year. More X-Men.
Yeah.
Well, apparently Tandy Newton turned down the opportunity to return for future movies. Wasn't interested.
Well,
was not interested.
That's silly, isn't it? Just have a word with her.
I will have next time I see her at the next family Christmas gathering. I'll have a word. But again, Mission Impossible 2, a troubled production. Now, I genuinely find this fascinating. So filming overran, and the fact that Mission Impossible 2 overran totally changed like the shape and the face of Hollywood movies for years to come. It actually did. So
that's quite a bold statement.
Listen to this. So Dougray Scott was originally slated to play Wolverine in X-Men.
Poor bastard.
But had to pull out when Mission Impossible overran.
Yeah.
So Hugh Jackman presumably would not be a star.
No.
So that changes every film Hugh Jackman's ever in.
X-Men franchise would have ended after X-Men the first film.
May well have done.
That's not a part that I nearly got. That's a part that I was offered and turned down 3 times, and I didn't want to do it. And then they persuaded me to do it, and I was doing it. I was about to do it, and then the movie I was doing at the time just overran by so much that I couldn't do it in the end. So that was the story with Wolverine. But it's so part of my past that it never really, I never think about it, to be honest with you.
Tandy Newton was forced to drop out of Charlie's Angels. She was going to play the Lucy Liu role again. Her career would have been totally different. This one, Ian McKellen was originally offered Anthony Hopkins' role. He was the first choice. He turned it down. Had he accepted it,
he wouldn't have
the overrunning would have seen him also miss out on X-Men
and Lord of the Rings.
And Lord of the Rings.
Oh my God.
So you would have had McKellen as Magneto or Gandalf.
That's fantastic.
Can you imagine? So in many ways, Mission Impossible 2 is the most important film of the past 30 odd years in its way.
That is great trivia.
Yeah. So reviews for the film were mixed.
Yeah.
Praise was directed at Tom Cruise's performance.
Yes. Hanging off a cliff.
And the action sequences. But the plot and dialogue were criticised.
Yeah.
According to screenwriter Robert Towne, he was back. Several action sequences, again, were already planned for the film prior to his involvement and before the story had even been written. So they basically plan the action sequences and then build a film around it every time. I think John Woo's first cut of the film clocked in at 3.5 hours. The studio balked at this length. There's a lot of balking going on these days. I like the phrase balking.
Yeah.
And then they told him that the final length could not exceed 2 hours. I wish studios would stick to that these days. Yeah, your film cannot be longer than 2 hours.
No, good.
So not everything has to be Lord of the Rings.
No. Well, we went to see Fallout recently, and as much as we loved it, when we went in there, we realised it was what?
2.5 hours. The longest ever.
Yeah.
It's going back to Lord of the Rings, it's Peter Jackson's fault. Ever since Lord of the Rings, all films are too long. Yeah. That justified it. Not everything does. But the fact that the film was basically hacked to pieces would explain why there are so many plot holes and continuity errors in the theatrical cut. Now...
Is there a director's cut?
Oh, I wish.
Oh, that'd be good, wouldn't it?
No,
the final cut, Mission Impossible 2.
for anyone, basically us, who wants more Mission Impossible 2. So, stunts. You want to talk about stunts?
Yeah.
The studio apparently expressed concern over the safety of shooting Ethan Hunt, Tom Cruise, his entrance into the film where he is rock climbing, filmed at Dead Horse Point in Utah. Cruise refused to drop the idea because he couldn't think of a better way to introduce the character.
Oh.
He was like, do you know what, I can't think of anything better, I'm going to be rock climbing. There was no safety net as he filmed the sequence, but he did have a harness. Having said that, he did tear his shoulder when performing Hunt's jump from one part of the cliff to another.
Oh, right. So he put a bit of effort in.
Yeah. So, ultimately, at the end of the day, I know why people want to hate Mission Impossible 2. I know why they want to hate it.
Who's gonna hate it?
I know why they want to hate it. Now I know why they want to hate it. Because hate is all the world has seemed to see lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many layers.
There's so many layers to that song. So, on to Mission Impossible 3.
Yeah.
Released in 2006. Again, 6 years later.
That's a big gap.
That's 10 years after the first film. You want to watch a trailer? Watch a trailer.
Yeah.
Watch a trailer.
Confirmed.
Stand by to go live. On my mark. 5.
You have a wife, girlfriend?
4. 3.
Whoever she is, I'm gonna find her.
2.
I'm gonna hurt her.
1.
And then I'm gonna kill you right in front of her.
What are you not telling me?
Execute.
Such a nice car.
Do it. It's Hunt. I know it's Hunt.
You'll never get what you want! You don't think I'll do it?
Come on. Every time I watch a Mission Impossible trailer, I'm like,
Come on.
Yes.
It's great.
I want to watch a new Mission Impossible movie.
I remember when I watched the third film at the time and being a bit underwhelmed, but I've watched
You're
it
wrong.
since and gone, it's really good.
It gets kind of overlooked a lot of the time
Yeah.
because a lot of people think that and they're right, the current phase of Mission Impossible movies very much started with the next movie.
Yeah.
And so I think 3 gets, people think about the first one, which has a very particular style.
Yeah.
The second one, which for better or worse has a very particular style. 3 gets ignored, and 3 is great.
I'd say if you remove Tokyo Drift, this is the Fast and Furious of the Mission Impossible franchise.
Yeah, it's good, but it's not quite there.
Yeah.
So in 2002, 2 years after Mission Impossible 2, David Fincher was slated to direct the next installment of the Mission Impossible film series. It was meant to come out in summer 2004. Fincher, however, later dropped out, citing creative differences. Replacing Fincher was the director Joe Carnahan, who worked on developing the film for 15 months. While Carnahan was involved, the film was meant to feature Kenneth Branagh as a villain and have Carrie-Anne Moss and Scarlett Johansson in supporting roles.
Amazing.
But they all later left because of delays in production. After a dispute over the film's tone, Carnahan quit in July 2004. Tom Cruise then called J.J. Abrams, offering him the director's chair, having binge-watched the first 2 seasons of Alias.
Yeah.
Cruise, he loves a bit of Alias, he loves a bit of Jennifer Garner.
And this was just after Lost as well, wasn't it? So he was on a high, J.J. Abrams.
So this film was directed by J.J. Abrams in his feature directorial debut. Don't know what happened to him since.
Done a few things,
gone off the radar.
Yeah.
It was also written by Abrams, Alex Kurtzman and Roberto Orsi, all known for their later work on the Star Trek film franchise. In the film, Ethan Hunt, Tom Cruise, he is retired from field work and trains new recruits instead of the IMF. However, he is sent back into action to track down the elusive arms dealer, Owen Davian, played by Philip Seymour Hoffman. Put a bomb in your head. Bomb. There's a bomb in your head. I know him. I love Philip Seymour Hoffman in this movie. He's great.
You're dead, Mr. Davian. There were witnesses. And you're going to tell us everything. Every buyer you've worked with, every organization.
What the hell is your name?
Names, contacts, inventory lists.
You have a wife, girlfriend?
It's up to you how this goes.
Because you know what I'm going to do next? I'm going to find her. Whoever she is, I'm going to find her and I'm going to hurt her.
You were apprehended carrying details of the location of something codenamed the Rabbit's Foot.
I'm going to make her bleed and cry and call out your name. And you're not going to be able to do shit. You know why?
What is a Rabbit's Foot?
Because you're going to be this close to dead.
And who is the buyer?
And then I'm going to kill you right in front of her.
I'm going to ask you one more time.
What's your name?
What is a Rabbit's Foot?
Who are you?
And who's the buyer?
You don't have any idea what the hell's going on, do you?
It also introduces the key character, Julia Mead, played by Michelle Monaghan, who's Ethan's fiancée, and Simon Pegg as Benji Dunn, the IMF technician, who, along with Luther, Ving Rhames' character, becomes a mainstay of Ethan's team in later films.
Benji, what do you got?
Well, these hard drive platters are just fried, you know. They're just like, they made a mess of them. It's just like there's holes in them and stuff, and it's got scorched all the way through, and then there's look, this one's got a hole in it and stuff. I can't even look at it.
Benji, did you recover anything?
Yes. Despite the aforementioned conditions of the hard drive you brought back, I managed to recover portions of 24 email files, also made what I believe to be a thoroughly promotion-worthy breakthrough. Your Mr. Davian is going to arrive in Rome the day after tomorrow and attend a function at One Vatican City.
What the hell is Davian doing at the Vatican?
It's all got to do with the Rabbit's Foot.
Rabbit's Foot?
Yeah, well, I'm assuming it's like a code word for something he's about to sell to an unspecified buyer for $850 million, by the way. Or maybe it's not a code word, maybe it's just a really, really expensive bunny appendage.
Again, like Fast and Furious, with each film, they bring in new characters and they keep coming back and going back to old films and bring them back. It's great.
You're really not letting this go.
Intertwined. They're not.
Should we just do a Fast and Furious episode to get this out of your system?
I think we should.
I think we need
to. Because I like the fact that they know they don't want to be like, no, we got to make it new so that each film could be just some new guy watching it. They don't need to watch the old films. No, I like the fact that they go, no, all these moviegoers are fucking nerds. They remember all the stuff from the past. They like it. Good. Do that more often.
Hollywood put to bed. So after, in terms of Pegg's casting now, after the success of Shaun of the Dead,
it was weird at the time, wasn't it?
Simon Pegg was asked whether he was going to pursue a career in Hollywood. To which he laughed and replied, "Oh, it's not like I'm going to be in Mission Impossible 3.
Amazing.
But did you know, originally offered the role and according to some sources accepted the role, but then had to drop out. Do you know who was really going to play Benji Dunn?
Martin Freeman.
Close. Very, very close. Very close.
What, Gervais?
Ricky Gervais. Because he was mates with Cruz at the time.
That would have been amazing.
Would it though?
Yes.
Because Pegg, the thing is with Pegg, he's a funny man. But you can also sort of buy him as not like an action hero, but you can buy him as like part of that team. I wouldn't buy Gervais running around, getting into scraps and stuff.
Yeah, because with each film, Pegg has buffed it up. It's like he's done a Martin Freeman. Every single film that comes out, he's all buff.
Apparently, in the most recent one, he actually had a six pack, and he didn't need it. He just worked out loads, and they're like, Simon, you're not getting top off. You're not getting top off. Why do you have a six pack? And he's like, oh, all right.
I can't believe we live in a world where Simon Pegg has a six pack.
Obviously, again, audio, you can't see me and Tom just sitting here with our shirts off and our huge 8-packs. Yeah. Cheers. McDonald's later? Yeah. So Mission Impossible 3 also features Jonathan Rhys-Meyers as the IMF agent with the coolest name ever, Declan Gormley. He might as well be called Gormless. Gormley. That's what you'd call someone if they were called Declan Gormley at school.
He didn't... I guess the whole point was he's a student, right? In this film?
A trainee, yeah. But he was a member of Ethan's team. Didn't stick around. There was also Kerry Russell as the tragic Lindsay Farris. Maggie Q as Zen Lei, who was a member of Ethan's team.
What happened to her?
Still about.
No, the character.
Oh, the character. That's like what happened to Maggie Q. Alright, good. Yeah, we'll get onto that.
Alright.
Yeah. I interviewed Maggie Q once. Yeah, she told me I was cute. That actually happened in real life. Yeah.
It's similar to your Meghan Markle story.
That's not for public consumption.
No? Thought she liked a bit of you as well. Back in the suit
What's
stage.
turning this? Just cut this shit. The film also starred Lawrence Fishburne.
Yes.
We love a bit of the fish, don't we?
Yeah.
As Theodore Brassel, who was the head of the IMF and also a quote machine. Some quotes from Lawrence in the movie. You can look at me with those judgmental eyes all you want, but I bullshit you not. I will bleed on the American flag to make sure those stripes stay red. Also, there's the moment where someone says to him, "Oh, this is unacceptable." He says, "It's unacceptable that chocolate makes you fat, but I've eaten my share, and guess what? Bring him back. Why has he not been brought back?"
I also don't think he'd like being called the fish.
The fish? What are you talking about?
I don't think he's a fish here.
Fishy, fishy, fish boy. He loves it. Loves a fish. With the longer episodes, we get more and more drunk.
Yeah, I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
We're only halfway through.
Oh god. Mission Impossible 3 was a box office hit and the most critically acclaimed MI film yet.
Really? Oh, at the time.
Yeah. So, Mission Impossible 4 or Ghost Protocol. It arrived in 2011. Again,
so good.
Though,
I know.
5 years
Yeah.
later.
Yeah, it was always an event.
Get a shift on.
An hour ago, a bomb blew up the Kremlin. The president has initiated Ghost Protocol. The entire IMF has been disavowed. Now I've been ordered to take you to Washington, where they will hang the Kremlin bombing on you and your team, unless you were to escape after assaulting Brandt and me. But if any one of your team is caught, they will be branded terrorists out to incite global nuclear war.
So what happens now?
Your mission, should you choose to accept it.
So, what's the play?
Who are you really, Brandt?
We all have our secrets. Don't we, Ethan?
Okay, now remember, blue is glue. And when it's red, dead.
You're not gonna make it!
You're not helping.
Boom.
So good.
So this film was directed by Brad Bird of the
Pixar fame.
He made The Iron Giant and The Incredibles. This was his first live action film, so a bit of a gamble, but it paid off.
Well.
So in this film, blamed for a terrorist attack on the Kremlin, Ethan Hunt, Tom Cruise, and the entire IMF agency are disavowed by the US government, while the president initiates the Ghost Protocol. Forced to go off the grid, left without backup or resources, except for a huge train full of gadgets, but don't worry about that. Hunt must somehow clear the agency's name and prevent another attack. Complicating matters further, Ethan must undertake the impossible mission with a group of fellow IMF fugitives, whose motives are suspect. So this is the first installment in the franchise where none of the villains are or used to be IMF agents.
Yeah, good.
It introduces Jeremy Renner as the character William Brandt.
He's good in it as well.
He's good in it, yeah. Also considered for the role, Bruce Willis, Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger. No, not really. Anthony Mackie, Chris Pine, and Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Upstairs, downstairs. All considered to play Brandt.
Do you know what? I think Renner was the right choice.
I think Renner was the right choice. Yeah. Brandt was apparently specifically created as a possible eventual replacement for Tom Cruise's character Ethan Hunt for when Cruise decides to step away from the franchise, but we'll get back to that.
Similar to Jason Bourne. Didn't quite do it, did he?
Before Renner was like the hottest shit in Hollywood at one point. They were like, Renner, you're the new Bourne, you're the new Ethan Hunt. You're still Hawkeye, except you're not in this one, but you're still technically Hawkeye. I feel bad for Renner. Anyway, Brandt, Renner's character, he had been assigned to secretly protect Ethan and his wife Julia, remember her, in Croatia. Julia had been killed by a hit squad, and Brandt had felt responsible for Ethan's loss, which is why he stopped being a field agent. Brandt confesses to Ethan in this film about his failure to protect Julia. Ethan, however, confesses that her death was part of a plot to give her a new identity and live out her own life. Good. Because I hate this. Yeah. So I get it. Yeah. So the end of Mission Impossible 3, it's really nice. It ends with them literally running off hand in hand. Yeah, happy ending. I get it. If you want to do another one, Ethan Hunt can't really have a wife.
No.
I'm going, when you coming home for tea? And he's like, I'm not. I'm doing my impossible mission.
Yeah, I'm fighting bad guys.
He can't really have a wife. That said, you don't have to kill her. It's lazy.
You just break up. Just totally unrelated. You just went through a bad breakup.
It's always the way, isn't it? It's like talking of Bourne. Have you seen all the Bourne movies?
I haven't seen Jason Bourne.
Fine, but you've seen the early ones, right?
Yeah.
So Bourne Identity ends with a lovely ending where Matt Damon and Franco Potente are back together. Yeah, great. And then Bourne Supremacy, she gets shot in the head in the opening scene.
Yeah.
It's like
totally outdoes
lazy.
it.
That's lazy. You've ruined the first film again. Retroactively ruined the first movie. Think smarter. This is good. I like this. That she comes back and it's like her and Ethan Hunt aren't together. Julia and Ethan aren't together, but he still loves her and she's just being protected. Yeah. This film also stars Paula Patton as the character Jane Carter.
Again, really good, isn't it? But never came back.
We'll get on to it. And just giving him a shout out because I know you love him. Josh Holloway.
Yes. Because when we saw the trailers for this at the time, it was like, yes, Sawyer's finally getting some roles. No.
He plays the ill-fated agent Trevor Hannaway. Holloway as Hannaway. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Hathaway. But I remember watching this film for the first time, and like he dies in the first scene. And I was like, "Are you joking?" But he does come back later. There's some flashbacks.
Yeah, but
this is also the only film in which Luther Stickle, Ving Rhames, doesn't join Ethan on the mission.
No,
but he does return for a cameo at the end of the film.
Yeah. It was like Ving was on holiday that year, and like, guys, I'm really tired. I will come up though. I'll do one scene.
I did try. I can't find any reference anywhere on the internet. If anyone knows, you can tweet us, 2geekscast, or Facebook, or Instagram, or email us, podcast@2geeks2beers.com. I cannot find any reference as to why Ving Rhames is not in this movie in a lead role. It just everyone says he just wasn't. Like, was he busy? Was he shooting another movie?
Do you not get up the stairs of the Burj Khalifa?
Again, go like the old days. Like Stephen Hill was like, "I'm not going up those stairs. Not going up those stairs." So. Stunts. You want to talk about stunts?
Yeah.
Stunts.
So this is where he goes on another level.
So in this film, Ethan Hunt scales the outside of the Burj Khalifa Tower.
Yeah.
How did you know that?
I just know this shit, mate.
You never know anything.
I know my tall towers.
Which is the world's tallest building.
Yeah.
At 2,722 feet, which is basically 3 Eiffel Towers. Yeah. And I went up the Eiffel Tower recently, and I shit myself because I don't like heights. This is 3 of those.
Imagine going on that.
No. Cruise filmed this scene without the use of a stunt double. Although Cruise appears to be free solo climbing in the film with the help of special gloves, in reality he was securely attached to the Burj Khalifa at all times on multiple cables. What a wimp. Yeah. What a wimp. Grow up, Cruise. Yeah. Ghost Protocol was a critical and commercial success. Yeah. It was the highest grossing film in the series.
Yes.
With $694 million it made.
So again, similar to Fast and Furious 5. Fast 5. God. This is where it was like, even though it was late on in the franchise, it was like, even though no one had really taken it that seriously up to this point, they were like, shit, do you know what? After all these films, it's fucking great. Really good.
It was the 5th highest grossing film of 2011.
Yeah.
And the highest grossing film of all time, starring Tom Cruise.
Is it?
Yeah. Well,
at the time. Has he beaten it since?
Not yet.
Is this still the best one?
So far, obviously, Fallout is not...
Still out.
It's still out. Go see it, it's great. Yeah. Christopher McQuarrie, who later directed Rogue Nation and Fallout, he did an uncredited rewrite of the screenplay for this movie. Again, apparently rewriting while the film was already filming. Despite this apparent lack of organisation, Ghost Protocol is the first film to lead directly into the next, with the final scenes setting up the terrorist organisation, the Syndicate, which would play a major role in the next film... Rogue Nation. You did know it.
I did.
Watch the trailer?
Yeah.
Benji.
Ethan, where are you?
The Syndicate is real. A rogue nation trained to do what we do.
An anti-IMF.
They're coming after us with everything they've got.
You ready?
This may very well be our last mission. Let's make it count.
So what's the play?
You want to bring down the Syndicate? It's impossible.
How do you know we can trust her? Desperate times. Desperate measures.
You have your seatbelt on? You asking me that now?
Oh, hey boys, what did I miss?
Ethan? Benji? Open the door! Open the door! Yeah, I'm trying. Oh my God!
Oh, come on. So this film came out a mere 4 years after the previous film.
Yeah, a bit
Stepping up
better.
their game. As I said, it was written and directed by Christopher McQuarrie. In the film, IMF agent Ethan Hunt is on the run from the CIA following the IMF's disbandment as he tries to prove the existence of the Syndicate, a mysterious international terrorist consortium. So Simon Pegg and Jeremy Renner, they both return as Benji and Brandt. This was the first Mission Impossible film in which every member of Ethan Hunt's IMF team is a veteran of at least one
Good.
previous film. Now, here we go. You'll like this. Paula Patton and Maggie Q were apparently set to reprise their roles from, respectively, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol and Mission Impossible 3, but both actresses dropped out of the project due to scheduling conflicts. So they did try to bring them back.
Nikita, season 4.
Yeah, Nikita. Yeah.
About Rhys Myers.
I don't think I know that.
No one's crying out for that.
Gormless Gormley. Forget about it.
Bring him, what's his face back from 2? Benny, whatever his name was.
What was it called? Billy.
Yeah. He's crying out for it.
Lothar.
It's going to be one, surely, it's only a matter of time before Ving Rhames like, there is one man who can get it for this. And it's like, alright boys!
There is only one man. My boy, Billy Bear. Billy Bear boy. New characters introduced in this film included Rebecca Ferguson as Ilsa Faust, an MI6 agent undercover in the Syndicate.
Who's not English.
She's not English?
No.
She was the second choice for the role after Jessica Chastain turned it down.
Oh, really?
She is not Jessica Chastain. Alec Baldwin as Alan Hunley, the director of the CIA, and Sean Harris as Solomon Lane, a former MI6 agent who went rogue and became the supreme leader of the Syndicate. Tom Cruise and Christopher McQuarrie admitted that the film didn't have a script again when they went into production. It is a miracle that any of these films are any good at all. Again, they just had the major action sequences planned out when they started filming. For example, you remember the underwater heist sequence where Cruise is under the water. Oh, is he gonna get out? He's under the water. That sequence was outlined from beginning to end, but what Ethan was actually stealing was unknown while they were filming it. So they did that scene, but they didn't know what the hell was actually going on in that film.
That's not the way you're meant to do
They didn't know. That is not how you're meant to make films. But turned out alright. And some scenes of important exposition were written while they were being filmed. They're just like, just make up as they go along. Yeah. How do these films even turn out remotely good?
It's interesting because I felt of the New Brigade, this was my least favourite.
Right.
I couldn't quite tell why. I just wasn't as gripped as 4 and 6. So maybe that's why that they just sort of made it up.
Yeah, but they make them all up as they go along.
Did a fucking good job, but even so,
stunts.
Yeah.
So in this film, Cruise trained under diving specialist for that aquatic sequence we were talking about. He trained under the diving specialist Kirk Crack, great name.
Kirk Crack.
Kirk Crack.
Oh, Kirk Crack.
To be able to hold his breath for 3 minutes to perform an underwater sequence which was filmed in a single long take without any edits. Now, I looked this up, especially. Most people in good health can hold their breath for approximately 2 minutes.
Right.
Cruise wanted to do it for 3. However, stunt coordinator Wade Eastwood claims that Cruise held his breath for just over 6 minutes.
What?
6. Tom Cruise can hold his breath for 6 minutes.
But is this do you remember in Top Gear where he appeared?
Right.
And he did star in a reasonably priced car with Cameron Diaz. And he got, apparently, the fastest time ever. But mysteriously, they sort of cut the footage, so you never really saw it all in one go.
Do you not believe Tom Cruise can hold his breath for 6 minutes?
I believe he thinks he can hold his breath for 6 minutes.
I think he can. And I believe you think he can.
Yes. He's the greatest man ever.
Filming of an action sequence featuring Ethan Hunt climbing and hanging on the outside of a flying Atlas C-1 took place at RAF Wittering near Stamford. Tom Cruise performed the sequence, at times suspended on the aircraft over 5,000 feet in the air, without the use of a stunt double. Don't worry about it. To pull off this particular stunt, the production team were given a limited period of only 48 hours. The plane took off and landed 8 times before they had the perfect shot. Now, one major problem with this stunt would be keeping Cruise's eyes open in the presence of fast wind and runaway particles. You know what's like when you have the wind blowing in your face? Imagine that. at that speed. So his eye specialist designed a special lens that covered his entire eyeball.
What do you mean?
Like a contact lens that went over his entire eyeball.
Oh.
Like spherical.
That is bizarre.
Disgusting. Anyway.
Alright.
You know Star Trek, right? I've
heard of it.
Yeah. Aware of it? Do you know this bit of like Star Trek trivia, a bit of lore that the odd-numbered movies are shit and the even-numbered ones are good? You've heard this, right?
Yeah.
So like the first one's shit, Wrath of Khan is great, the third one's shit, Voyage Home is great.
Right.
Mission Impossible has a similar thing. Or it did. Until Rogue Nation, Tom Cruise had short hair in the odd-numbered Mission Impossible films and long hair in the even-numbered ones. Rogue Nation, it's a great movie, but it dropped the ball because he has sort of longish hair, and it's an odd number movie. And then he has short hair in the sixth film.
Right.
The next one threw it all off. Rogue Nation fell short of eclipsing Ghost Protocol's final gross, so it became the second highest grossing Mission Impossible film, and still though the second highest grossing film of Tom Cruise's career.
What did it get?
A cool, as they say, 682 million worldwide.
Okay.
Yeah. Which brings us to this year's Mission: Impossible Fallout.
You had a terrible choice to make in Berlin. One life over millions. And now the world is at risk.
This is the CIA's mission. If he had held on to the plutonium, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
His team would be dead.
Yes, they would. That's the job.
You don't understand what you're involved in.
You need to walk away.
Please don't make me go through you.
How many times has Hunt's government betrayed him, disavowed him, cast him aside? How long before a man like that has had enough?
Ethan, that's not who we are. Maybe we need to reconsider that.
You can't fight the friction!
So, how is he?
Hell, you know. Same old Ethan.
What the hell is he doing?
I find it best not to look.
What? Say what you just said.
I don't remember that bit.
Yeah, there's a bit at the end of the trailer where Tom Cruise is flying a helicopter towards a lorry on the road. Not in the final film. Anyway. See what, I bloody love Mission Impossible movies. I bloody love Mission Impossible movies.
If anything, from like critical reviews, this is the best one yet.
Right. Save it. We'll get on to it. So this film arrived just 3 years after Rogue Nation. The fastest turnaround yet. Just 3 years. Well done.
Yeah.
It was directed by Christopher McQuarrie. Maybe that helped, same director. Making him the first person to direct more than one film in the franchise. Tom Cruise, Ving Rhames, Simon Pegg, Rebecca Ferguson, Sean Harris, Michelle Monaghan, and Alec Baldwin are all back.
Good.
New additions to the cast include Angela Bassett as Erica Sloan, the new director of the CIA, with Baldwin's character becoming the IMF secretary, and Henry Cavill as the rogue CIA agent, August Walker.
Who I have to say, considering I don't normally like Henry Cavill, he's great in this.
He is great in this.
Yeah.
It's I feel bad for Cavill.
Yeah.
I was like, he's so dull as Superman, no charisma. Ugh.
Watching this, it's like, it's really good.
He can reload his arms. He can sprout a shirt pocket at will and spontaneously grow a beard in seconds, presumably just through the power of pure, raw, unfiltered masculinity.
And I love how he ruined Justice League with the moustache.
So reshoots for Cavill's Justice League coincided with the schedule for Fallout, for which he had grown a moustache, which he was contracted to keep while filming.
Totally unnecessary.
So McQuarrie, the director of this film, he gave the producers of Justice League permission to have Cavill shave the moustache in exchange for the $3 million it would cost to shut down production on Fallout. He said, "Yeah, you can, you'll shave the moustache. $3 million, please. That's what it will cost you." And then they could digitally fill the moustache in. They could paint the moustache on him in Mission Impossible. But executives from Paramount rejected the idea. So Justice League's visual effects team were then forced to digitally remove the moustache in post-production. Now, I'm not sure how bad a digital mustache would have looked in Mission Impossible.
Can't be as bad.
It couldn't have been any worse than the CGI shave they gave Cavill in Justice League.
He fucked up.
Cavill was offered the role in this film on his Instagram by Christopher McQuarrie.
Oh.
That's 2018 for you. Yeah. The film also stars Vanessa Kirby as White Widow, a black market arms dealer who is also the daughter of Vanessa Redgrave's character from the first film.
But is it actually said?
Yeah, it's not really important. Apparently, Tom Cruise loves The Crown. Apparently he binge-watched 2 seasons of The Crown and was like, get her, I want her.
And have a weird scene where I sort of make out with her for no reason.
I definitely make out with her for no reason. In the film, Ethan Hunt, Tom Cruise, and his team go up against the Syndicate once more and must track down stolen plutonium while being monitored by CIA agent August Walker, Henry Cavill, after a mission goes awry. Now, Jeremy Renner, he did not return for this movie due to scheduling conflicts.
What's he doing?
With Avengers 4, which is not out yet, but the next one, he is in it, because they filmed it at the same time as Infinity War, which he is not in. Renner, apparently though, he turned down a cameo in this movie as Brant. Had he accepted, Brant would have been killed off in the opening act.
No.
So I'm kind of glad he didn't. Renner said he didn't want to take a paycheck for 3 days and getting blown up. I'm on justice for Renner.
Yeah.
But Renner still has one more Mission Impossible movie on his contract, so he could maybe turn up in the next one. This film also features one, presumably, final appearance for Michelle Monaghan as Julia Mead, Ethan's ex-wife. And just to totally alleviate Ethan of any guilt for the fact that he definitely fancies Ilsa, Rebecca Ferguson's character, we find out that Julia now has a wonderful new life, and she marries a lovely Wes Bentley. Don't worry about it, Ethan, you're fine.
She's moved on.
You're totally guilt-free, she's moved on. Which leads to it's a great film, but it does have a slightly odd final scene where Julia says goodbye to Ethan. Ethan, I've moved on. It's time for you to move on.
Yeah.
She gives him a kiss. She leaves, literally passing Ilsa on the way out. It's like Cruise literally has women queuing up. It's like, that one, bring on the next one. Go on.
The younger model.
Yeah. Stunts. Talk about stunts. It had to happen. In August 2017, Tom Cruise injured his right leg on the London set during filming. He broke his ankle leaping from a rooftop, and the footage remains in the final movie.
Yeah.
We watched it.
Wincing.
The whole audience went, "Oh!"
Because you knew.
Everyone knew. I enjoyed that. It was a nice little shared moment. Following the accident, the studio announced that it would halt production for at least 9 weeks in order for Cruise's broken ankle and other injuries, he said other injuries, which he didn't tell anyone about, to allow them to heal. However, Cruise was spotted on the set 7 weeks after the initial injury, 2 weeks earlier than initially planned. Now, I've never broken anything.
No.
Touch wood. You broke your...
like my wrist.
You broke your wrist once.
Yeah.
Took fair enough. Months to heal.
A good 6 to 9 months.
Still
in the car.
Still not right.
Still shit.
Cruise. Yeah, he broke his ankle. Don't worry about it. 7 weeks later.
But then again, I'm guessing Tom Cruise has the highest possible
healthcare
surgeons and all sorts.
True. Very true. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go at you.
I don't think it's a different time, isn't it? So.
Stunts in this movie included the extended foot chase, as well as a helmet-free motorcycle chase through Paris. He actually did that.
Good.
He actually did that, which I didn't realise. And a helicopter chase in which Cruise does most of the piloting. Again, he actually did it. But the biggest stunt in this movie, in terms of the amount of preparation, was a high-altitude low opening, or halo jump, which featured Cruise. A jump he made from 25,000 feet up in the air, hitting travelling speeds of 265 to 320 kilometres per hour. It was the last sequence filmed for the movie.
That was a surprise.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Cruise trained for an entire year to film the stunt. Now, with these stunts now, I find myself in a weird place where that stunt was so ludicrous that I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
Even though I know, because I've read it and people have told me, it is him. He is doing it, but it's so ludicrous. I don't believe it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it looks like it's CGI because you think, well, why would anyone do that? That's stupid. You might as well do it through CGI. I feel like he's now reached a point where the stunts, even though he does them himself, they're so ludicrous. I don't believe them, which is weird. I know he's doing them, but I'm like, no, I don't know. I refuse it. My brain refuses it.
This is why I say the Oscars should have an award for the most effort put in a film, because Tom Cruise, 71,
he risks his life.
He put far more effort into his role than anyone else in Hollywood. Give him an award.
Except maybe Keanu Reeves.
Except maybe Keanu Reeves.
He trains hard for John Wick. Yeah. But I mean, what is next after that? Does Tom Cruise jump from space into Earth's orbit like that astronaut dude?
Yeah.
Where
God,
does it end?
You've said it now. That's going to happen now.
That would be good.
That'd be incredible. I bet he will.
Do you know what I mean? Do you know that video I mean where the guy jumps from space?
Baumgartner. He's going to do that.
Baumgartner. He's going to do a Baumgartner.
He's going to do a Baumgartner.
And I have to say, as much as I love James Bond, and when Fallout came out, lots of people were like, Mission Impossible is going to kill Bond, get rid of Bond. No, shut up.
Yeah.
Suck it up. Bond's sticking around. Yeah. I love Bond, but I have to say, Bond could learn from the most recent Mission Impossible movies. Yeah. They're fun, there's gadgets, there's spectacle, they have substantial and interesting female characters, and what Bond should do, take a leaf out of this book, do a teen movie.
Again, this Fast and Furious, people like a team. They don't. The whole one guy on his own, Jason Bourne sort of thing. It's not as in vogue anymore.
No,
do this.
And Bond has kind of touched on this. It touched on it a little bit with Spectre, but it's not quite followed through. Do a movie where you've got Bond, Q, Moneypenny, out from the desk, back in the field. They all team up.
Yes.
It'd be great. Now, many critics have called Fallout the best instalment of the franchise yet. Would you agree, Tom? Would you say it's a franchise that's got better and better as it's gone along?
Yes.
Good. Okay, good.
Well, Ghost Protocol was the one for me that went up a level of this is incredible. This is really good. Went down a bit at Rogue Nation.
Interesting.
But I feel like, on hindsight, I think this might be the best.
Well, I've got here for you and for our listeners the Rotten Tomatoes ratings for the 6 movies.
Yeah.
So, care to have a guess at what's bottom?
2.
Mission Impossible 2 is the only rotten entry with a rating of 57%. Next up,
3.
No, Mission Impossible, the first one, 63% fresh.
Okay. Then 3.
Then 3, Mission Impossible 3,
then 5.
70%. Then, interestingly, given that I'll be honest, a lot of the time I get the two movies confused, can't tell them apart. Ghost Protocol and Rogue Nation, both 93%, and then top, Mission Impossible Fallout, 97%.
Wow.
Yeah, near perfect. Yeah. Where would you, if you had to rank them, what's your ranking?
Pretty similar, to be honest. I'd say, 6. This is top to bottom.
Yeah.
6, 4, 3, I think, actually.
Yes, Justice for 3.
3, 5, 2, but I'm still loving it.
Yeah.
1's my least favourite.
I would
which
agree.
Is good, because normally in these things, 1's always the best, like Die Hard or whatever. In this instance, I say it's the worst. So
I would agree. I would put 1 bottom. It's a better film than 2.
Yeah, but
it's
I
not
enjoy
as entertaining.
I enjoy 2.
So I'd go 1 at the bottom, then 2, then Ghost Protocol.
Oh.
No. Then Rogue Nation.
Okay. Yeah.
Then 3.
Yeah.
Then Ghost Protocol.
Yeah.
See, I get them confused.
Yeah.
Fallout. I think Fallout is the best.
So I agree.
I think it is the best.
Yeah.
One final point on the movies. The intention was originally to bring Jeremy Renner on as a replacement for Cruise. Do you think this franchise could continue without Cruise?
No.
And if they did replace Cruise, should they recast Ethan Hunt like James Bond, or should they have a new character like Brandon? New character.
Yeah.
If they were to do it, but you think they shouldn't do it?
If Tom Cruise ever steps down, they'll just cast a brand new character with someone else. They won't recast.
Interesting. So, very, very finally, Mission Impossible has had life in other media outside of TV and film. There have been 5 official Mission Impossible games. The first on the NES, based on the 1988 series, interestingly, and the rest spun off from the movies across a variety of consoles: the N64, PlayStation, Game Boy Color, PS2, Xbox, GameCube, Game Boy Advance, and on Facebook.
Greetings, Agent Hunt. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to see that the dangers born of the shadows are not allowed to see the light of day.
This is suicide, man.
Should you or any member of your IM force be captured, the Secretary will disavow all knowledge of your actions. This message will self-destruct in 5 seconds. Mission Impossible, Operation Surma, rated T for T.
There were also spin-off comics and books inspired by the original series, as well as a one-off comic published by Marvel in 1996, which served as a prequel to the first film. But that is about it. Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
So, for more Wikipedia-inspired waffle about cult TV shows, classic movies, vintage video games, and more, you should visit our website, which is 2geeks2beers.com, where you can find all 45 of our previous episodes. We are now solidly into the realms of middle age. We are also on iTunes, Stitcher, and a variety of other podcast platforms where you can subscribe, rate, and review us. It's quick, easy, and painless. Quite the opposite of a Mission Impossible.
And please give us a shout out or follow us on all the social channels, which is at 2GeeksCast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
You should follow us for 2G2B news, announcements, and our thoughts on the latest breaking geek news. And please do let us know if you've enjoyed any recent episodes, or if you've just discovered us and are listening back to the older episodes. We've had a few shout outs recently.
Always nice to see.
Always nice. You can do that on social or via email, which is podcast@2geeks2beers.com. Now, next time, very exciting. It's Freaky Franchises 2. Yes, more than 3 years after our first episode. Delving into strange, little-known movie franchises, we're doing a sequel. Hopefully not a disappointing sequel. The only way to find out is to listen, so on your own head be it. To play us out from your favourite and mine, Tom, Mission Impossible 2, it's Zap Mama's remix of the New Orleans anthem, Eco Eco.
What is this?
When Ethan's climbing.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So, enjoy. This podcast will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Hey, mister, see that sister? Don't you let her thrill you. Sticks and stones may break your bones, but when our looks could kill you. Oh, hey, come my way. Suka, suka, na, na. Come on, sale, ale. With the suka, suka, mama. Hey, brother, there's another suka, mama turning. The sun will rise and light in your eyes. The fire keeps on burning. Hey, come my way. Suka, suka, na, na. Come on, sale, ale. With the suka, suka, mama. Come, hey, come my way. Suka, suka, na, na. Come on, sale, ale. With the suka, suka, mama.
So from 1980 onwards, just 7 years after the original series concluded, excuse me. Supercut. Right.
Wish I could bet.